Welcome, guys. So we're on the first episode of the Unnamed Strength podcast. So working title. My name's Anthony. I'm a big fan of the sport of strongman. I'm pretty deeply entrenched into it from a promotions perspective. We've got our two podcast speakers. I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Riley Anderson. I'm also heavily invested in strongman, both as a fan and as an amateur athlete, and hope to climb the ranks.
And my name's Joseph, but I'm also known as Frenchie, and I'll be managing the laptop today and the sound, and hopefully everything goes well.
Let the mayhem begin.
I like this. So you've got some stuff that we want to talk about.
Yes.
So let us know. What are we talking about today?
So the first thing I wanted to bring up was World's Strongest Man, 2026. Results, events, dramas, surprise. What's the biggest shock for you?
I guess the obvious one, Tom Stockman not making the finals.
Yeah,
That was a bit of a doozy. It's quite the obvious one.
Why'd you reckon?
But from the way his training looked like he was really building up. You could probably say now and then you could see some little hiccups because he talks about how he doesn't like to run with a yoke every now and then. He likes to just stomp on the spot with the yoke. I suppose that's not really much, but you could kind of see that is he really putting in the work? But
That's a criticism I've heard from someone else, asking, questioning, is he putting enough work into it? I honestly think he is, since it's the one competition he prepares for every year.
yeah,
I just think on the day, he wasn't good enough. The level just blew up. Mitch is on his A game. Reno was unbelievable.
Insane.
Absolutely insane. To a point where I can't bet on Mitch anymore, because if Reno's competing, he's a threat.
he's the guy.
Yeah.
He does seem to be holding up health-wise a bit better than Hooper, because Hooper looked quite haggard through the show from what I've seen,
he's
comparatively.
newer to the sport. So obviously his body hasn't been through what Hooper has done to his own body, and with the stem cell treatments and everything. I think was it Lalas was mentioning a lot, his back was not great.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long he's gonna.
Likewise with his knees as well. He's stopped the split jerking pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, how do you guys feel about Mitch's controversial rehab with his knee at World's Strongest Man?
Oh, the needles that he injected. What was it again?
Oh, it was like a painkiller, just a really insane painkiller. But they don't want to talk too much about it.
Okay.
Or who gave him the advice to do it. But obviously, to see a World's Strongest Man athlete put it all on social media, the fact that he's injecting a painkiller directly into his knee, I think it highlights maybe a different perspective of the sport that we don't see so much. But it's also maybe something, a bit of concern to kind of go, what are these athletes doing to get themselves to perform at this show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I remember, he mentioned his physio helped him with the injections, and it was kind of a gamble because there was a risk of his knee just quite literally blowing up. Yeah. So he took the gamble. I think it worked. It might have some damage over a long period of time.
And the repercussions.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose if there was a day you were to do it, it would be a big competition like World's Strongest Man. But the counter argument is, if something went wrong, like he had a minor tear that built up, would he have felt it? Because the gamble of his knee exploding, okay, he was willing to take that, but are you willing to take the gamble of a minor tear, which could build up, you've won World's Strongest Man, you walk off with a trophy, and then you collapse down because your knee gave way.
But
the tear continued.
I do think, like you said, Anthony, with the promoting almost of this, whatever he's doing is unheard of. I think in strongman, especially World's Strongest Man, where we literally see behind the scenes, and it's quite ugly for some people who probably thought most strongmen were naturals. I mean, personally, I kind of like the fact that he's so open about it. I do think he's taking a risk because, getting the information out there and probably push some people to do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's dead honest, and I think he, sleeps better.
Yeah. I would say those putting the information out there, and some people are going to copy and do it, they would do it anyhow. If it wasn't going to be Mitch Hooper, they would have copied someone else's methods. And because grown-ass people have to make their own choices, and they want to copy that sort of his stack, shall we say, it's kind of on them, even though he's promoting it. These are kind of uncharted waters, and someone has to start somewhere.
And he's putting the other athletes in a situation where they're not forced to come out with more details about what they're taking. But because he's so open about it, now the question is everyone else, what are they doing?
Could theirs be worse?
Yeah.
Would they be willing to discuss that?
Yeah.
I guess the big thing that I was kind of like hearing you guys talk about this, the thing that I think of is that the main kind of attraction in strongman? Like, people use exogenous hormones in many sports. Like Olympics, you can't really say that it's completely clean. The amount of athletes that have been banned over the years is just too high and too often. They only recently banned peptides in, I think, powerlifting. I think Olympics, they've had a ban for quite some time, but it's only been recently in like the last 10 or so years, I think they have done that. So I guess for me, it's like, when you look at these top athletes and their personality isn't really built around their steroid use, probably not something that they want to talk about because it's not part of their brand, right? And it's kind of like, it might be a thing of like just PR.
Yeah, I think for a sponsor point of view, it might be difficult to be very open about it, because I think a lot of companies, if they're selling protein and one of their athletes says, oh, I'm doing, I don't know, a gram of test, obviously they'll be like, well, we're trying to sell that they can attain your body with just whey protein, which most often is not the case. So it is ballsy from Uber. But like I said, we'll talk more maybe about the enhancement games. But to go back on the topic of World's Strongest Man, a question that came up a lot was, what was your favorite race? Was it the race for first or the race for third?
I think the race for third was my probably more favourite. I was interested to see who Rayno or Mitch was going to win, but when Eddie Williams was number third going into day two, I was like,
That was fucking insane.
Here comes the big Aussie.
Yeah, I'm a big Eddie Williams fan.
Oh, yeah.
So to see that, it was really cool to watch.
Well, recording in Australia, obviously we have a bias.
Big bias.
He's just like a really nice guy. Like, I think Eddie Williams is like the new Brian Shaw.
Yeah.
Like, he's just the good guy of strongman.
The giant.
Yeah.
The nice teddy bear.
The gentle giant teddy bear. Likewise with Rag as well. It's pretty interesting to see how he's going. Our New Zealand
Strong.
Yeah, our New Zealand brother. Got to give him some love.
Yeah, he's been consistent.
Oh yeah. Last year went off, I wouldn't say off the rails, but he did have to had to have another go essentially, and I think he proved that this year.
Yeah, I can't see him winning any major titles at the moment.
Yeah.
Just because of this stacked lineup. But,
Yeah.
I mean, a few top strongmen have been kind of left out recently. Like we said, Tom Stoltman didn't even go through the finals. Luke Stoltman
Broke his kneecap.
Oh my God.
Jumping into a canal.
I don't know if you saw, he's been announced for the World Log Lift Championship.
I have seen that one.
Yeah.
Interested to see.
So maybe his leg is healing, hopefully.
End of the year, is it the... Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he might have, called quits on his career. He's got a great legacy behind him, so he's got nothing more to prove. But if he's back, I'm more than happy.
I think he probably wants another go at that world record next year. Might not be for the log, yes, I mean.
Well, it's going to be difficult getting the British record with Jack Osborne.
Who is just absolutely built for log for some reason.
Yeah.
The average Joe or strongman.
True. So it might be a bit complicated for him.
We're in like a whole resurgence of strongmen right now, I think. Like, there's just so many new, insanely strong athletes that are coming through the woodworks. And a lot of them, I think, are pushing a lot harder and with a lot more education behind them. And I feel like that's just going to push where the limits are just ever so slightly higher. And it's just going to make it more complicated for us to kind of go, yeah, like we can predict it. Because like Tom Stoltman not making it into the finals. he's a strong athlete and he's a world's strongest man. But it's insane to think about how like he was on his A game. Sure, he had a few things that he wasn't doing too well in, but there was just so many other great athletes that are just pushing up and improving and getting stronger on their side of things, that you can be the strongest guy in your country or your town, or you could be the strongest you've ever been, but you don't know what the other guys are doing.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone's chasing for that title. Like, world's strongest man is the biggest title in the world. Like,
Especially now that SMOE is gone.
well, yeah, well, that's
So-
kind of the big thing, right?
Yeah, interestingly enough, you just mentioned how strongman might be doing a comeback, but one of the big four just basically ended.
Dissolved and liquefied.
And one of the reasons was probably not enough promotion in the sport, maybe not enough involvement.
On that subject, I do think probably the biggest thing that probably did dissolve World Strongest Man on Earth is that the sheer amount of effort and dedication Brian put into it, and he's burnt out because he was on the A game of the strongman scene for so long. His A game for the business side of things, so on, like he was just as ruthless and competitive when he was doing that. And I think he's a little over 40 now, 42. I think he's just kind of like, I think I'd rather just be with my family.
But fair enough.
Yeah,
And,
it's very respectable.
and I think he did so much for the sport, and he could have continued with Strongest Man on Earth in a smaller setting, spending less money, stop doing the arm wrestling or whatever other competition he had going on.
Yeah.
Just focus on the strongman. It would have worked, but he doesn't want to go smaller.
Yeah.
No.
It's Brian Shaw.
Brian Shaw.
He wants big.
It was Strongest Man on Earth, and it took him a few years to actually get the title of Strongest Man on Earth from the original holders. And the only reason why the guy felt comfortable giving it to Brian is because he said, this is the sort of show that deserves to be called Strongest Man on Earth, because you're finding that person.
And it did. With
It
the
really did.
brutal events, what was it, for
The
2
heaviest
days?
show of the year.
Yeah.
8 events, 2 days, all heavy as hell.
Yeah.
And like from my perspective as a promoter, you hear a lot of athletes talk about how well he looks after them. Like even for the short classic athletes that you go and qualify to be part of, they'd have their food taken care of, their drinks, their flights. Everyone was taken care of, which makes you kind of recognize just the sheer volume of financial expenses that this one person was taking on board.
Basically, single-handedly.
Yeah, I think in my opinion, I don't think SMOE is done. I think it's just goodbye for now. I think at the end of the day, there is so much love for that title, because I personally think it's the best title. I like World's Strongest Man, but I think everyone has their critiques on it, especially with the lack of live streaming the show. And then to see Strongest Man on Earth do that, like a little bit of a stat for you guys. There was the last year that they did SMOE, there was over 250,000 people who paid for the live stream.
And that's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. That's almost $10 million US that was made. Most like World's Strongest Man, they run a promotion budget to run the show of about 4 million US. So there's a lot of money that went through that. But we have to also recognize that Brian was running a show that was literally the most expensive show in the world, because he doesn't have the legacy and systems to back him up to make it more cost effective like World's Strongest Man.
Nope.
They've been doing it for years, so they can run it a lot cheaper and smoother because they've practiced it. But I also think that like with Strongest Man on Earth, there is a lot of potential there. And I think I really want to see it happen, and I want to see it come back. But I think it won't come back unless the sport changes for the better to make these shows more enticing.
Yeah.
And you might see other shows come through the woodworks as well.
Well, another show that's been around for a while, the Siberian Power Show, throwing up a lot of money. Then,
Yeah, that was going to be the next jumping on board with Lalas, who mentioned it. I wrote it, funnily enough, before Lalas mentioned it. He asked, is the Siberian Power Show going to be the next
big thing.
Big Four? And it is a legitimate question when you see the money that's involved for next year's show.
And from what I understand, they said that's the bare minimum, because Matthew Rose talked about trying to get more into it and even change the date of when it happens. So it happens between the Arnold and World's Strongest Man. That's going to be a pretty jammed up
It's a
calendar.
You probably won't get a lot of athletes to buy into that yet.
Yeah, but he's actually talking about going further and changing the date of the whole, not just the Siberian Power Show, but the whole expo itself.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's kind of a soft power move from the Russians in general, not being invited to any shows for so many years, and they have
5 years now.
yeah, absolutely amazing athletes that are not invited, and I think that's kind of their, you know, fuck you to
The rest
to
of the world.
the West of the West and the rest of strongman, and they
And
want
that-
to make something bigger and get the biggest names. I mean, they had freaking 4 last year.
They pretty much said everyone else is welcome to our show because we don't discriminate when it comes to sports.
Yeah, but they will run it the way they want to run it.
A lot of
Yes,
geopolitics involved with it.
Very much.
there
so.
is.
Very much so, and that's why it's important to keep a cold head.
Yeah.
I don't think we should all jump on board and say, okay, this is going to be the next big 4.
Yeah.
We should,
So let's keep an eye on it. It's what we have to get to.
yeah, I think it will wait and see next year, because the Siberian Power Show is not just strongman. It's like mostly a bodybuilding show, which is amazing.
Some powerlifting and arm wrestling they do. It's basically another. It's not quite. And it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. It's its own thing, but
Well, they just don't have the population yet.
Yeah.
It's the Russian Arnold. Yeah,
Yeah, it really is.
Russian Arnold.
Arnoldovich.
Love it. It's kind of interesting thinking about this when, like, I feel like the perspective that I'm kind of developing here with these shows is they're great to see, and a lot of promoters will go and put all of this money on top of it. But like for the Siberian show this year, a lot of athletes pulled out last minute, and Matt Rhodes did a lot of videos talking about how like he's already invested in a lot of their merch and their custom clothing and paid for flights that these athletes then they couldn't get their visa sorted
Because of the-
Russia and all of that stuff.
That and because of Iran and America's
Yeah.
situation, those athletes could not make it.
And so think about like from Matt's perspective, how much money did he lose doing that? Like he did talk about insurance, but like flights, a lot of those times they don't cover wartime stuff.
No.
So he was out like tens of thousands of dollars.
And how actually,
get these
and the thing is, how many times a year are you willing to take that sort of losses year after year? Because
Yeah.
is there really like if you have 10 athletes in a row just can't make it and you've already paid for it, does that next year mean he goes, I can't bother now?
So one thing I suspect, and it's just a suspicion, it's not, not intel or anything, but any show that's created in England, in the UK, in the US, it's all private owned. Private companies, if it works, it keeps going on. But in Russia, like I said, because there is this soft power, it might be a state-sponsored show, in which case the state probably pours money and doesn't really care about losing money because of the image it sends to the world.
The state of Siberia wouldn't be.
I think a lot of countries do that regardless, though. There's just the stigma of like Russia behind it. Like you get government grants for many shows everywhere, and that's kind of like that would be the equivalent.
True.
Yeah.
So my suspicion is that because it's such a big show and they're making it bigger and bigger, they can't invite most people from the world anyway. So with I'm saying low attendance, there's obviously a lot of people going there.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're making as much money as they're spending.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
They don't have the international draw these in the last few years like they've had before.
And so if the government is involved, good for them.
It's only going to benefit the sport.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. Right?
Yeah.
Or even if it's not the government or just the local city, like the big city, putting the money into it, that's still quite a backing. Like having a city basically behind you, funding you, that's going to go a long way.
Yep. True.
It's exciting.
Which brings us to the next topic, which is the enhanced games.
Oh, this is fun.
This is fun.
I haven't
Talk about this.
So
I haven't seen much of it. I just saw
Yeah.
Thor's failure of the 515.
So regarding strongman, which concerns us, there were only 6 lifts that were interesting for us, which were free lifts from Thor and the free lifts from Hooper.
Yes.
For the attempt of the 515 kilos.
515 kilograms on an Olympic platform. Is that why Thor couldn't get it?
So according to his coach, that was one of the reason, because we can see as soon as he gets it past the knee, the feet slip.
Yeah, they just each sprawled out in different directions.
Yeah, I have a different theory that might might be a bit edgy, but the enhanced games were actually very strict when it came to PED use, because they were followed by doctors, they were followed by probably the world's best specialists, and they were limited to FDA approved meds, which includes testosterone, anything that was prescribed for like breast cancer, this type of stuff. However, that leaves out quite a bit, including trenbolone, Superdrol, human growth hormone. Don't quote me on this. It could be. I don't think it was legal for this comp. So what I'm saying is, even though it was called the Enhanced Games, I think the athletes were less enhanced than they would be on a normal strongman show.
Or were they? I'm not all sorry, but they were basically using what they're selling.
The Enhanced Games obviously is all a big money-making company.
Yes.
They were just publicly listed and everything.
Yep.
I think they lost like, after the Enhanced Games happened,
50%
50% of their shares, share prices dropped. Which, like, fair if you want to buy and you believe in it. Like, I've been talking about it since before it started because it's, I think, a good opportunity because most of these tech companies they'll go up and fly high. It'll kind of 9 times out of 10 be like Icarus flying into the sun and then crash and burn. You know, if you can kind of time it well, you can come out on top of it.
I don't know if you heard also mentioned by Thor's coach, the Enhanced Games might be looking into giving Thor a second chance on the deadlift because at the moment, I don't think anyone has the prize money to entice Thor to lift 550.
Very
That is true.
surprised.
Yes.
What's the point of doing something if you're not getting good bang for it, right?
But again, to go back to the use of drugs, I do think it might have taken them kind of out of their comfort zone maybe, or just regular PED use. And that might be why. Even Hooper, as absolutely amazing as he is, I think his deadlifts were completely subpar to what we're used to.
Yes.
In a suit, in a venue with only one lift. I mean, when he started, he basically pulled, what was it, 574?
575, which was
470, sorry.
yeah.
Shit,
475.
almost 600 kilos. Damn.
In Australia.
Yeah, he did that here at a powerlifting competition, and this is before his strongman career.
Yeah.
So I do think with probably the PED intakes now, you would reckon he'd be better. But, you know, the body took
His
a
health,
hit.
his health is also still in question. The knees, because after that work, like we said about the World's Strongest Man, he looked quite a bit haggard.
Yeah, and you can see that the face is bloated. There's a lot of water retention. It's not healthy, and he says it himself. So
But
he knows the risk.
And now as his performance is affected because, your performance can be good and your health not so good, but there comes a point where you need your health so your performance can then increase.
Yep.
Because, well, you can't have to be healthy to function, I would think.
I guess this is where the perspective of like peak performance output is like the thing that we need to remind ourselves with, right? Like these are athletes that are trying to not live a quote unquote traditional healthy life. They're trying to live a life to be the strongest person in the world, in their field. And so they're making decisions based off of that feeling and thought, not on how can I just be healthy. And so like during off season, no doubt Mitch is focusing on his health right now to recuperate from the damage that he's put his body through. But when it comes to in-season prep, like that's where they really gun it. And I think the long-term implications are obviously something that we all can see. Like the man was not always as big and heavy as he is now.
No.
And now he is. And that kind of affects your body. This is where I think, my theory, the next big thing in strongman is going to be Reno down. Because the dude's been heavy, but athletic. Like he's, so as a South African, I've got a big bias towards him. But also he's an ex-rugby player. And he's a bloody good rugby player.
He was playing it during his college years.
He's a Curry Cup winner.
Yeah.
For some of the rugby players out there, they'll know what that is. And like that, like having won that, like this is a guy that's athletic. He knows how to take impacts. He knows how to be aggressive. And he's got really strong after the fact. And his coach is bloody good.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I think he'll be able to withstand that pressure of performance more than Mitchell Weber in terms of long-term development, because like Mitch was an endurance runner, right? And like that's his whole shtick. He came from marathon running to strongman. Like that's a cool story. But if you're coming from an aggressive, intense, fast-paced sport to strongman, like strongman and rugby are probably the most translatable disciplines out there. Like when the start of strongman happened, a lot of field sport athletes jumped into the sport.
Yeah, lots.
They played really, really well. And so I think in terms of being able to handle the body weight and the stress on the system, I think he's definitely got a bit more there. I just think that the downside is that the amount of like education and resources that the athletes have in South Africa, as opposed to our North American counterparts, there is that disparity, or access to like healthcare in the sense of being able to look after the damage that they put themselves through.
Yeah.
But like if you could see Reno having improved his log so much from last year to this year, and to go and hit a 400 kilo deadlift without his belt clipped in,
which is
for multiple reps,
5 reps.
That dude is insane.
It's crazy. They should have chucked him in the enhanced game as well. 3B3.
But I think it all comes down to genetics, and we tend to forget. A lot of people they think, oh, if I get on drugs, I could become the world's strongest man.
No,
absolutely not.
No.
Freaking Paddy Haynes was the world's strongest man in the natural.
Federation.
Natural Federation.
Natural strongman.
The natural strongest man in the world, and it's not nothing. They all have such an insane background.
Yeah.
I think I recall Laws saying that Mitch basically became the first time world's strongest man almost natural, like he was probably just starting stuff.
Yeah.
So the base strength is absolutely insane, and they need to respond well to whatever drug they might want to add or not.
Their durability and tolerance for training, because you get blokes like Hooper who can just keep training, just don't fall apart. Then you get someone a bit more fragile like Luke Richardson, who is extremely strong, but very injury prone, whether we like it or not, because how many times has he lost his hamstring or a bicep?
So also genetics, and I can't remember who said that, but if in your childhood you broke like every bones of your body, you'd probably not be good at strongman, because that means you have a predisposition for weak bones. Or I know with maturity, obviously you grow and you develop more, a solid frame and everything.
But you've also opened up a gap for that bone to break again in a way.
Yeah. So I do think that no matter what, they are genetic freaks, and they are the top 0.1% in terms of genetics, and you add on top of that whatever they need to for the extra, 5, 10, 15%.
Yeah. To be fair, you might not be always genetically optimal, but you can probably close that gap more than you think. Really, that probably should be your goal in whatever sport you do. You can always close that gap and just make yourself better regardless. Because even if you do have genetics, that's what, at best, 50% of the work done. The rest is the things you don't see, the training, the sleeping, the eating, you talk about this a lot, stress life balance.
Yep.
That's a big one.
Like chronic cortisol levels being increased. Like that stops your growth hormone when you sleep. That stops you having testosterone recovery. Or testosterone. And it's like these are, like when we talk about these things from the perspective of all of these hormones, it naturally makes people kind of think strongman hormones, steroids. But it's a thing that every person should think about. Like you need to make sure that you manage your hormones well, regardless of if you're natural or not, because like we're all in the business of trying to be as strong as we possibly can in the circumstances and the environment that we can, whether we choose to take exogenous hormones or not. The reality is you still have to show up, you still have to be consistent, you still have to do the difficult thing. The only difference is that someone that takes exogenous hormones is gonna feel like they can do it better, and it's not gonna feel as difficult.
With bigger weights.
Yeah, because they are just dealing with it from a different mindset. Yeah, it's like someone that's on cocaine is just going to be naturally, like their dopamine levels are higher because of that high that they're getting. But at the end of the day, like if we're a normal person, our levels are lower. We can still do the same thing. It's just the level of difficulty required and intensity that's required to get the same outcome is exceptionally high.
Yeah.
And I think that's where like learning to be comfortable doing the difficult thing is like the first step to really get a good push and show what you're genetically capable of.
Very true.
So just a reminder for everyone, go get your blood checked. It's super important. And sometimes, like, I don't know, Riley's writing down blood check. Yes.
At least once a year. Like
once a year.
You need to know what's going on in your body.
And if you think, oh my God, I'm tired every single day because of work, it might not be work. It might be your sleep. It might be sleep apnea. It might be your stress. And it might be you're deficient with something. So go and check. It's
your blood works.
It's super important. And you get a full panel even if it costs a bit more. But I think everyone should do it.
Like I think in Australia, it's costs something around $200 Australian. Like to get a full panel of everything. You do that once a year, you'll be covered. Your GP will tell you what's going on. Like I've got 2 fitness watches on right now because I'm trialing out Whoop to see if it's actually worth doing. But like it's got a thing where you can get a blood panel done and you inject that data into the Whoop, and then its algorithms it's gonna give you advice based on what's going on. Which for an everyday person that doesn't know anything about their bloods, it's a pretty good way to kind of like easily just get info out there. But we have access to the internet. You can learn a lot more. It's just that conscious effort to try and figure that out yourself too.
And knowing where to look as well on the internet, that's probably a good one as well.
Yeah.
That back to the money into it. That's that $200 a year. That's pretty much an investment, because you now have a roadmap what your blood works is, and like, oh, so if I manipulate this, that can get better. Manipulate that,
100%. No, that's very
pretty much what you just said.
Sure. And there's obviously you should always go get your blood checks. Not after a heavy training. Give it a few days. You need to be rested. You need to be fasting. But if everything's optimal and that represents your normal state on a weekly basis, let's say, it's going to give you a good idea. And if something's wrong, you can always correct it. Most things, obviously, if you're diabetic, not much you can do. Although there is things you can do to help. But for the rest, it's
at least mitigate problems that you might pop up in the future.
There are many supplements that help with the cholesterol, with even the cortisol. Very basic things.
Lifestyle changes too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Diet
change. Adding a bit of cardio to the training. I know a lot of strongmen frown upon cardio, but it's
do your cardio, people. It's good for you.
Do it
for the heart, just for the heart's sake. Do the cardio.
It's so big.
Stronger heart means more muscle mass.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing that I say all the time at the gym, and it's like everyone is sick of me saying it, but it's so true. If you have a better cardiovascular system, you're probably going to recover faster in between workouts than the other guy, which means that you can come back faster and stronger, which means you can then get more volume in your training across an entire year. And if you accumulate more volume over a year than your competition, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be stronger than the other guy.
Even if
you've just done that. No, like completely natural. And the amount of times that I've seen natural athletes completely demolish people that are just pumping themselves with all of this gear
while not looking after their health or cardio.
Not actually doing that. Yeah, it's insane. Like I've seen athletes literally do like sandbag medleys and they're like heaving over the thing, but like this is someone that could deadlift 300 plus, but they can't handle a 125 kilo bag. And it's like, there's probably something wrong here if you can do a 300 deadlift, but you can't pick up a 125 kilo bag.
Yeah.
Like it's a sad reality of a circumstance where you sacrifice one thing. There's secondary consequences to everything you do.
And
sorry, go ahead, Joseph.
Strongman is just being good as possible at everything, not just static lifts. Obviously it's important because there's going to be a deadlift in almost every show.
Yes.
But there's going to be a moving event in every show.
So, overhead. Some sort of cardio, some sort of grip, and
Stones. Like, it's not a strongman show if there's no stones. I'm sorry.
Riley will disagree with me, but I don't think there should be stones in every comp.
Well, I actually do have to agree with you on this one, Joseph, because something about a power stairs is also very empowering. You could be on top of the podium of a power stairs, cheering.
I do.
I would say for a 5-event show, you can probably get away with not having Atlas stones. 8 events, you probably should have an Atlas stone.
Yeah, if you do a multi-day event,
Atlas stones have to be involved. Some sort of stone, should be involved one way or another.
Because it's strong natural stones,
because it's a strong man. We like rocks.
Yeah.
I like rocks.
So natural, I think, is more representative of
brute strength.
Yeah, Australia just doesn't have good natural stones to use.
I beg your pardon?
Like the iron stones that you find anywhere.
Like my local paddocks,
Yeah, they will eat away at your skin. Yeah. And if you want goods like granite stones, you have to process them, and that costs a lot of money to make happen. Something you can do it, but you're talking about like a 10K investment.
Yeah. Or you just go weekends and whack out with a hammer until you get a shape you like every weekend.
Yeah, I mean, you'll probably get stronger by doing that yourself too.
Yeah. Just go to another country like Thailand and you bring back some stones. Yeah.
But then is that really an Australian stone?
No one will know.
Oh yeah, no one would know.
Except for everyone watching this podcast.
So we've just talked about the enhanced games, World's Strongest Man, the strongest man on earth. But now we're gonna go with the future shows. And the next one, upcoming one, is the World Open.
No, the Strongman Classic.
Thank
if I
you, Riley.
can be the Strongman dork.
Yeah,
In July.
Like, Riley is our strongman nerd. He knows more about the sport than.
I really should.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary sometimes.
It
It is
pisses
scary.
Jane off. I've fed it.
So in the participating athletes, we've got Mr. Evan Singleton.
Defending champion.
Your favorite guy.
Oh, my
that's-
favorite person in the world.
Let's end it there.
Rain O'Neill.
My favorite guy.
Awesome dude.
Let's go, man.
Josh Pataka.
Yeah.
Josh Paddocker, another Aussie boy.
Yeah,
I'm
so
excited for him.
because,
deadlifter.
because there's no other Aussie in the lineup,
Yes.
so he's going to be representing us.
Mr. Williams has some sort of knee injury, niggle.
is that
So
why?
he asked if he could have his Giants Live invite pushed later in the year.
Yeah, so Josh is going to go against the next person, Mitchell Hooper,
Crikey, Michael.
Martins Lissis.
The Dragon representing Latvia or America?
Probably
Here we are.
good
He
question.
Latvia. He's representing Latvia this year.
Latvia, representing Latvia, nice. Andre Fotu,
Very strong dude.
Adam Bishop.
He's getting bigger each year, that dude.
We've got some Kiwis with Matthew Ragg,
Matthew Rag
Nick Guardione,
of America.
Andrew Flynn,
The Flying Flynn,
Flying Flynn, a Pavlo Kordiaka.
our dude.
Yeah.
And I think that's the lineup.
The top Ukraine. And
Pretty insane lineup.
that is a-
insane.
there's a stacked lineup.
Notable absence. I wrote down Tom Stoltman.
That's a
Yeah,
bit surprising.
It's a big name left out.
What do you guys think?
It might just be mindset. I think he wants to build up something a bit bigger.
You think he's building up for maybe Rogue in November?
We can get into that a little later, but maybe
He's in the lineup for the Strongman Open and World Deadlift
he
Championship.
might want to make
Okay, yeah.
probably wants to make a big statement there with a big
Yeah.
deadlift.
So another remarkable absence, although not so much for Giants, is Lucas Hatton.
Yeah, bit of a surprise. Suppose he doesn't want to make too many trips around this year.
Yeah,
he
and
I
is.
think North America's strongest is on around that time. And
I think-
that's very near and dear to him.
I think that's 4 weeks after this show.
Yeah.
So that's a very good
Point
point.
to compete for that. I mean, I'm wearing a shirt.
Yeah,
I got to
that
meet
is
him.
right.
I love him. I'm a big Lucas Hatton fan.
Yeah. You show us the photos as soon as you got them, mate.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Out of the Texas boys, we only have Nick Guardione because
Yes.
Austin Andrade is not doing this one. He'll do the deadlift championships.
He probably wants to say for that. Kind of
Yes.
makes sense.
So they're sending Nick as the Texas representative, you know?
Hey, you gotta
boys,
love them
Texas boy.
Texans, man.
Yeah, they're awesome. Honestly, I really like them.
Like, just if you're from Texas, you're a good strongman.
Yeah.
I just love a lot of the content that they
Yes.
put out like that. It's like
Funny
three
guys.
brothers that just have a real good time.
Yeah.
They just like to talk shit. and,
Sometimes
bully
because
each other.
the big thicket just walks up.
Yeah.
So we got the Texas firefighter, the Texas boys, and Texas himself, Train Mitchell,
Yes.
which is pretty much the dynamic.
Which is amazing because they all push one another because obviously Austin and Nick train together, so
Yeah.
they're pushing one another to be better, which is awesome. And I thought Hooper was moving to Texas, but it turns out he's moving to Vegas in 2 weeks apparently.
To be fair,
I wonder what.
just because of financial reasons, and also he's,
Gambling issues. No.
Wait, he does.
you want a gambling issue. You want a gambling issue, you come to Australia.
There's no income tax in Nevada.
Yes. Okay. There we go.
I don't think there's an income tax in Texas, however. So
He could have had the training partners, no income tax to deal with.
I was gonna say maybe the weather, but it is probably similar in Nevada than Texas, obviously with the scorching heat of the
Close to
summer.
Silicon Valley, I think.
He'd want to be near Nick
I
Best.
don't know my geography in the U.S. enough.
Yeah, it is closer to California. California is absolutely horrendous when you come to taxes and taxable income, which I know was one of the reasons why Mitch wanted to escape Canada, which makes sense. Fair enough. So I don't know why Vegas.
But
Is there
his choice. His choice.
Yeah, is there like a strongman community, a big?
Nick Best lives there, and I think he.
I don't think those two get along.
No, they got along pretty well.
Yeah.
They've been on a few podcasts together. He helped
With
Nick
Nick
with
Best?
his Nick Best. He helped Nick Best with his hip issues. I gave him some advice.
Yeah, man.
It might be.
A different dynamic now.
When did he go to? He went to Texas recently to shoot something. Do you remember? He did a video in a gym in Vegas.
I don't
So I think he probably went because even Laws made a video one day saying, "Oh, Mitch is somewhere in Vegas." So I think he went and scoped out, probably a house or something for his wife and kids.
Yeah.
And now I think it's it's like he's apparently getting rid of all his stuff in Canada. And
Man.
End of an era, pretty much.
have you seen the way he stacks his trophies?
It's pretty crowded.
It's like in the very end of the garage, and they're just like on top of one another. Like he really doesn't give a shit. Like
He does and he doesn't.
well, the world's strongest man is literally like one is on top of the other, just like holding on for dear life, covered in dust. And he says himself, like, I don't want him in a nice
Glass cabinet like how
Yeah.
the GOAT, Big Z.
That's how I would have
Yeah.
that.
Well, so that's something I definitely want to talk about, right? Like when you look at people that have these kind of trophies and like don't really kind of like, I guess for lack of a better term, respect the effort that they put in to get there. Like it's to me speaks to the physicality that the people or the individual would be going into for how they feel for their achievements. Like you look at Big Z, he's got 200 plus trophies and they're all displayed because he's proud of every one of them.
Donate some to his local museum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like you see him do that and then you see juxtaposed with Chupa having done that. It kind of makes me think like, does he not think that he like should be proud of those trophies or not? Like I might just be pulling at straws here, but it's just like, these are like the biggest trophies in the world. People dream about having these things. And here's this guy that's like, meh. Like, it just kind of makes me...
I think there's some sort of respect to that. It's like, I put in the effort, but I can do more. But you've got to acknowledge what you've done.
Yeah.
And so probably
Gotta celebrate the wins.
Yeah, probably leaving them in the garage to dust. Probably not the best idea. At least try and clean them once a week, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
I don't know. I think like he said himself, like when he started, other people believed in him more than he believed in himself. And
Yeah.
now it's kind of the opposite. He said that he believes in himself more than people believe in him, which I don't know if it's true because everyone knows that today he's the strongest guy around.
Just period.
Like, and probably in the Mount Rushmore of strongman, which
Yeah.
some people might disagree. I think he has a spot on the top 4.
I genuinely think he's number 2 right now. I think he's outdone Brian. I think in terms of what he's done in career-wise, pure results,
yes.
he's outdone
Yeah.
Thor and Brian, which is
Yeah.
an insane thing to do within like, what, 4 years, 5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. When it comes to influence, obviously, you know, Brian, Eddie, and Thor.
Yeah, they deserve to be on there.
Yeah, Eddie's the reason why I got into strongman in the first place.
You watched the Strongman documentary?
No, I just watched Eddie lift 500 kilos off the floor. I was
Yeah.
like, I want to do that.
That's fair enough.
I'll never do that, but I want to
Yeah.
get close. Yeah,
I want to see how strong I can be.
yeah, exactly. So, you know, they've all participated greatly into developing the sport. And like I said, Eddie, as much as people give him shit for only winning World's Strongest Man once,
You say only.
yeah, he is the reason why so many shows today have the prize money they have.
Yeah.
Just
And
because
also,
of the
just from
influence.
Britain alone, look how many British athletes they are.
Yeah.
Giants Live has their own show dedicated to England itself.
I wonder if we'll ever get someone with that kind of influence come out of Australia.
I think Eddie Williams has the makings of
I
it.
think he does. Oh, you. I think so. No. I don't want to say that you can't do that. I think you can. I think it's one of those things where, like, the way that you influence a sport is solely not just based on your performance in events and competition. It's in
Your
outside of that.
Your deposition, what you do to support the community, what you do to get people
Into the
eyeballs
Yeah.
on you,
Like
at least.
Eddie Hall did so much outside of competing. That's what caused him to have such a great influence. Arguably, when he won his World's Strongest Man title. Like we didn't know or care too much about that at the time. It was when he hit the 500 kilo deadlift that it made a big deal.
Yeah.
But you said himself, like, just as for his own career and his own life, I
health.
think everything
Marriage.
with 500 kilos, I think that set him up for life.
Yeah.
Because now literally everybody knows of Eddie Hall. Even people who've never heard about strongman, the sport,
They know Eddie Hall.
they know Eddie Hall.
Likewise with Thor. They just
Yeah.
big names. Thor from his work on Game of Thrones and other movies.
Yeah. Every time I try to explain strongman to people, I mention Eddie Hall, Thor, and people will know.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh yeah, I've seen these guys.
yeah,
They're
man.
big."
Game of
Yeah.
Thrones.
Yeah,
Brian
exactly.
Shaw to a degree, because people, to a degree,
To a degree.
more so often in the US of A,
North Americans, yeah.
they are like, oh, I know Brian Shaw. I've heard of him.
Yeah. But like in Australia, Eddie Hall, most
Some
household
people-
names. Yeah,
I've mentioned it at my hometown, and some people are like, oh, that big British fat fucker that lifted a big weight.
if that's what they want to call him, sure.
Country boy Australia right here.
yeah.
Come to the wheat belt, you'll be harassed heavily.
Yeah. I mean, he was 400 pounds at some point. So
196 kilograms on the day.
that's even more.
That's a lot of human being.
Yeah, for slightly
Your height, essentially.
6'2".
Yeah.
He was 6'3" on paper, but he's not 6'3".
He may be 6'2.5" at his peak.
I think with the yokes, he probably shrunk down to
You
6'1".
lose a bit of height.
But we can all agree he was 6'8" in circumference.
Yeah, yeah.
Should we tail back to the Strongman Classic a little bit? So we,
Yes. So
because another absence name is Paddy Haynes.
Paddy Haynes was the next on my list, and
I think he just wants to be healthier because he looked a little rattled himself during Worlds.
he was disappointed with his result regarding last year's results. I think he finished fifth. Was it in 2025?
Yeah.
Yes.
So obviously going from fifth to not qualifying for the finals is kind of a big hit. But I mean, he's got a lot going on. He's getting married. I think he's got nothing to prove. He's England's strongest man. At the
Yes.
moment.
And he had plenty of other opportunities along the way.
Yeah. So who was it recently? Someone mentioned Paddy Haynes. I think it was Hooper, saying that Paddy Haynes is one of the guys who also helped the most with the promoting of the sport.
Because he's a personality. He knows he has good camera composure, I guess.
Yeah.
Not the word I was trying to go for, but
Going even like creating his own farm competition. So
the Haynes Open.
at the farm, which is amazing.
Yeah,
And,
that's the kind of stuff that really has a big influence, right?
Yeah.
Like, the grassroots is where like everything starts there.
The sport grows through participation.
That's where fans come in. That's where future athletes and elites come in. Future promoters, volunteers,
Which is why
that's the important thing, right?
Which is why I'm convinced that strongman is probably the cult of all strength sports, because the consumer is also the athlete. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Because they're basically paying to see themselves on telly when it comes to OSG to a degree. Not quite like that, but it's not far off that either.
Well, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where like it is a business at the end of the day, right? And when there are many mouths to feed, it makes it very hard to grow. So you want to make sure that you're productive and efficient. And I think having athletes be involved in helping volunteer to run shows makes it more efficient because you guys know how competitions run.
Oh, yeah.
So athletes helping give back in that sense makes shows more efficient, which makes them grow faster, which makes them develop the shows to help give more pathways and opportunities back to you guys.
So do you think that most top strongmen actually give back enough? Because they can use their names quite a bit. Like if tomorrow Eddie Williams came for like a local show here in Perth, it would be massive.
That would kind of blow up
it
because
would be insane.
It's funny you mentioned that, right? Because so many people have mentioned, like, if there was to be a pro strongman come to Perth, it would be Eddie Williams. Like, not just geographically because he's here in Australia already.
because he's on the other side of the country. That's not the way, dude.
But he's just like the type of personality that he has is just so like infectiously positive that it's the best type of personality to get into promote shows. And like I get it, you want to have like a bad guy sometimes too to get shows to be entertaining.
Yeah.
But I don't think that is like the most important thing.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
They kind of come out of the woodworks regardless to a degree. They're not evil, but you want, or he should get knocked down a peg or two. But that might be just the Australian. They would.
yeah, Australians are very humble. Like, the US are very much like I believe in myself and I'm number one, and they'll kind of like think of themselves like that.
Which is how they got so successful.
Yeah.
And it's seen as arrogant in the UK, especially in Australia.
Yeah.
In the rest of
cultural
the world. Yeah, it is. And like a lot of people don't understand when we see like Singleton do whatever he does. We have like, I absolutely hate it, but also, I hate it. But a lot of people in America find him entertaining. And the kids love it because he's like this bad guy, this big, bold, strong dude, and
He's a big dude, actually.
he is massive. Yeah, he's what 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, 6'5". Yeah, I don't think
Massive
6'6"
guy,
is quite there.
No, so as much as most people don't like an arrogant personality, sometimes it can have a positive impact.
Yeah, because you're openly being confident. But to the point of
right?
Yeah, he is probably bordering that line between trying to hype himself up to make sure he believes it, but he's not far off it. Yeah. And more often than not, he can put his money where his mouth is. Well, probably not more often than not. He'd lost a fair few biceps himself.
Yeah.
So yeah, to answer your question, I think a lot of athletes are doing a lot, and I think there's a lot of things that we probably don't see in like their social media platforms and how they help out. But in my experience, I think a lot of the top athletes, they want to see the sport grow, because they know at the end of the day, if they help the little guy,
It helps.
it helps them as a follow-through effect. Like, I honestly, like, it was the biggest shock for me as a fan of the sport, having gone to the Arnolds and having met all of these people, having met the Strongman brothers, having met Lucy Underdown, Rebecca Roberts, Trey Mitchell, like Olga. Like, it's just insane to see all of these athletes, and Lucas Hatton, of course, and then having them just like chat with you and treat you like you're someone that's worth talking to, and go like, yeah, like these are cool people that we want to communicate with. And like how I was reffing at the Arnolds and Lucas Hatton jumped in to help me like with the event itself to try and help us run the event faster.
Yeah, there's a pretty good image of you getting towed along on the implement. You just making his job a little bit hard just because he can.
Yeah. Well, it just shows that you can have a good influence and give back to the sport in more ways than one.
And still have your privacy because,
Yeah.
let's be honest, a lot of strongmen are kind of people who just hammer away in the garage or the gym and maybe they don't go out too often.
Yeah.
It's still a niche sport. So
Yeah.
like a top guy, even like, I don't know, like Paddy Haynes could probably walk in the streets of most countries unknown.
Relatively unknown. Like maybe if someone goes, I think
Maybe
I've
not
seen
in
him.
the UK.
Yeah.
But if he walks around, let's say America, he could be like somewhere and be like, oh, didn't that fella flip a car?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
who's this guy with a mustache and a weird
Yeah.
accent, you know?
What are you trying to say, mate?
But which I think because it's so niche and there are quote unquote so few fans, and we're all kind of same personality because we're all trying to get to the same goal.
And we're all gym junkies.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there is in general like the community is pretty healthy compared to most fan base.
Yeah.
If you went to a concert, like
There can be some rages in there.
Yeah, some bands, they just attract the worst kind of people, and you want nothing to do with these people. And if I was an artist with a shitty fan base, I wouldn't want to hang out with them.
Yeah, and it's like, am I part of the problem of the shitty fan base as well mentality?
Yeah, whereas strongman, I feel like, there's a pretty good fan base. I think it's one of the rare sports where athletes all, even in a competition, they will support one another.
Yeah.
And we respect strength. No matter what, we respect strength.
Yeah, because it just kind of comes back to my cult thing again. But it's
You
probably
really want this cult thing to happen, man.
well, that's
Podcast.
You
That's
just want to be
another-
a cult leader.
That's another discussion for another day. It's because the consumer is also the athlete, and because, well, a lot of the athletes are also watching as well because they know what you go through, and they're the ones who are very invested. So they're just the die-hard strongman nuts. So that's why they're like, oh, let's just talk to this guy and be nice. They're telling for a lot.
Yeah.
Because it could be, you never know, someone who is 8th in the world, I can't remember who's 8th in the world at the moment, but it might have been a miracle he made it to that stage this year. He might have had a mortgage he was desperate to pay off. We don't know. That's in private life.
Yeah.
So just be an average strongman fan, you're like, let's be nice to the guy. Got to be nice.
Yeah.
He's going for a lot.
I think we've kind of come to a point in recognizing that we're all people. We all have our own lives. We all have our own things going on. And I think with a lot of the topics that these pro athletes are talking about, and in a lot of sports in general too, they do mention the stresses that they go through to manage what they are trying to go through. And I feel like this is probably a topic that we can talk about in a future video, where it's like the mental health aspect of taking on the journey to become the strongest man.
Yeah.
on earth.
Yeah. Or just even basic level strongman. We've got a lot of people who went through like similar, like brutal weight loss, for example, or struggling with diets.
Weight gain.
Weight gain for some. So no, it is.
your
Yeah.
meat.
Eat more.
That's not the only time he said that to me.
Do you have any other subjects you'd like to bring in?
Probably who's going to win the Strongman Classics, the only thing that comes to mind.
True. We should make a little prediction.
So
Any podium finishers?
I feel like
it's a...
yeah.
Oh, sorry, you go ahead, man.
Oh no, I was gonna say I feel like it'll be bad to not assume that Mitrika isn't gonna be on podium. I'd love to like see him, but not because I like the guy. I would love to see like other athletes kind of like really give him a run for his money.
Josh.
Yeah, like Josh. I think he's going to be a bit of an underdog. We've not been seeing what he's been training. He didn't compete at Australia's Strongest this year.
He didn't make it to Worlds because of some sort of sickness, I believe.
Yeah,
So he had to withdraw.
and so and this is a guy that like he is freaking huge. I remember meeting him at an Australia's Strongest competition a few years back.
He's as big as Eddie Williams. He's a huge guy.
And he's such a nice guy. He's like super chill. I was there with one of my friends and athletes competing, and like we were just having a great time. And like he's someone that I think is gonna be like a big heavy hitter, but also someone that like will give a bit of like a good positive energy to the shows.
A bit like a Nick Wardion.
I would say he could be like the Australian Nick Ardio.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Knows how to bring the crowd in regardless of performance.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how he goes. I'm really rooting for him to podium. Yeah.
But we also got
Those that don't know what because he's not showing what he's done. Right?
which would be interesting. He's the unknown. But then we have the defending champion, Edward Singleton. He would want to hold on to that.
Yeah.
And we have Reno now, who wants redemption from last year because he got fourth.
Yeah.
That's something to consider.
I would say my podium would be Reno, Mitch, and Josh Pataki.
That's
Nice.
That would be mine.
Why not Martins Elisis?
I love Martins.
I love
But
Martins.
I think he's not in his prime anymore. And I think he's kind of competing more in the sense of the publicity aspect of it than just being the fucking dragon that he used to be, being the first Rogue Invitational winner.
Which is big to have.
I missed that guy.
I think he just wants to really enjoy strongman, so I think he doesn't really care about his placings anymore.
Because he did change his coach recently as well.
Yes, he joined up Alec Jose, Hatton's coach.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's doing a trial run with
Everyone's
the.
going.
Yeah,
fair, he's a good
RP11,
coach.
RP11 man. They're producing consistent athletes.
Yeah. My podium would be it would be stupid not to bet against Hooper. So I'd go Hooper, Reno Nell, and Foytu.
Very understanding.
actually, yeah.
It's crazy. We're the same age, and his best overhead is greater than my best deadlift.
It's like 2 times my body weight.
It's like
He is too much time for it.
Lacey's, we're the same age.
Yeah, that's
Just like
bit of a mind fuck, isn't it?
Yeah, it's scary. Hooper is literally born the same year as me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel like there's a world.
what are we doing with ourselves, guys? We should be world's strongest men here.
Yeah,
That's a negative mindset,
We
dude.
could be world's strongest men in this room.
yeah.
We can
but
be the strongest
can't-
people in this room.
We can't do it without sponsors. So if you own a biltong company, please
Hey.
sponsor us.
Give me some of the others.
The Cook Sisters.
Just the,
Look, sisters. Here's your sister.
We do need a sponsor, but more, we need a name. Yeah, because the Unnamed Strength podcast, or whatever we said, is not.
We are currently
it's
unnamed.
not permanent. So
Yeah.
if you have any suggestions for names, please let us know.
Yeah.
Wanna know?
Anything else you want to add?
See us when we see us.
Yeah, Cerberus sponsor us.
Evolution Strength sponsor us. Evolution Athletics.
Unnamed 10%.
Cool.
Might work.
Yeah.
Might work.
Awesome. All right, guys.
See you guys.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Bingo dingoes.